I was addicted to meth. I was addicted to cocaine. Heroin was the one thing that was so hard for me to get away from. So hard.
Hard describes 22-year-old Heather Helton's life. She first started using heroin at 17 to please a boyfriend.
I wanted to make him happy, and I thought that would be one way to make him happy.
Once a cheerful and friendly pom-pom squad student, on heroin she dropped out of high school, turned manipulative, defiant.
I went from being bubbly, outgoing, confident, to being angry. I fought a lot more about little petty things. I was much more secretive.
Eventually stealing from her own family, stripping, even begging to pay for her habit.
I wouldn't call for days, weeks at a time, and that's only because I was high. There's things I've done that people just shouldn't do at all.
Mirroring the heroin epidemic, heroin deaths that have doubled or tripled in some counties. Valerie Butler, Jessica Eberhardt, 17-year-old Shannon Gaddis, just a handful of the dozens of heroin fatalities so far this year. 28 in St. Louis County alone, up from 13 at this same time last year.
You know, it can happen to anyone. If it can happen to Andrew, it can happen to anyone.
May 12th will mark the one-year anniversary of this local college athlete's death from a heroin overdose.
Came home and said goodnight and used and died.
His fatal overdose even more shocking because Andrew Jones was supposed to be sober and in treatment. What started as prescription drug abuse as a college sophomore led him to try heroin the summer before his junior year.
He sweat a lot, napped a lot, just withdrawn.
Hopelessly addicted, he dropped out during the first semester of his junior year.
You know, there was the telltale signs, and the agitation and the confrontation was the hardest thing.
They took away his keys, cell phone, access to money, resorted to doing things they never thought possible.
When he OD'd and they dropped him off the street, you know, I went after the drug dealer.
This is probably the biggest epidemic St. Louis has ever seen.
Here's how to recognize a user. Along with changes in attitude and friends, look for unexplained sweating, sleeping at odd hours, irritability, manipulation, valuables or spoons missing from your home, and black marks on countertops. 48 hours after checking herself out of rehab, Heather wanted to talk publicly about her addiction in the hopes of saving just one life, wishing that life could have been her brother Cody, defiant and dead of a heroin overdose at just 17.
He said he was going to die getting high, and nobody could change it, and he did.
Heather told me she wants to go back to rehab. If she does, she faces daunting odds. The success rate of treating heroin addiction is only about 5%. Kay Quinn, News Channel 5 cover story.